In a blistering televisual moment that sent shockwaves through British media, Dr. Shola Shogbamimu unleashed a powerful condemnation of Piers Morgan's persistent dismissal of Meghan Markle's experiences of racism within the royal family. Her uncompromising stance cut through Morgan's trademark bluster, exposing the deep-rooted systemic racism that he seemed pathologically unable to acknowledge. With surgical precision, she dismantled his arguments, highlighting how Morgan's own media platforms had ruthlessly attacked Markle, while simultaneously denying the very real racial trauma she had endured. Her passionate defense was not just a rebuke to Morgan, but a broader indictment of a media culture that consistently gaslights and undermines the lived experiences of black women, particularly when those experiences challenge comfortable white narratives about institutional racism. The toxic media narrative, Meghan Markle's battle against racism and prejudice. The systemic racism embedded within the royal family's treatment of Meghan Markle exposed a deeply troubling undercurrent of prejudice that Piers Morgan persistently and aggressively denied, despite the mounting evidence and public outcry. Despite overwhelming evidence of her marginalization, the media continued to paint her in a negative light, often ignoring her charitable work and positive contributions. Morgan's relentless media assault on Markle revealed more about his own biases than any legitimate critique, showcasing a pattern of behavior that many found deeply troubling and indicative of a larger issue within the media. Systematically undermining her humanity and reducing her to a mere tabloid spectacle, the media's portrayal of Meghan was both unfair and damaging. Dr. Shola Shogbamimu courageously confronted Morgan's toxic narrative on national television, calling out the inherent racism and sexism in his attacks. Powerfully articulating that Meghan Markle is first and foremost a human being deserving of basic respect, dignity, and compassion, irrespective of her race, background, or royal status, Dr. Shola's words resonated with many. The brutal media campaign against her represented not just a personal attack, but a broader societal issue. It was a reflection of the deeply ingrained racist structures that continue to pervade British society and its most prestigious institutions, highlighting the urgent need for change and introspection. The royal controversy, Piers Morgan's unrelenting attack on Meghan Markle. Piers Morgan's systematic demolition of Meghan Markle through his newspaper columns represents a deeply personal and remarkably vindictive campaign of character assassination. His writing has consistently demonstrated a stunning lack of empathy, repeatedly tearing down the Duchess with a ferocity that goes far beyond legitimate criticism, instead revealing a personal vendetta that seems more driven by wounded pride than journalistic objectivity. Morgan's relentless attacks have painted Meghan as a villain, deliberately mischaracterizing her experiences and dismissing her struggles within the royal family, particularly regarding the sensitive issues of race and mental health. His columns have become a platform for sustained criticism, where nuance is abandoned in favor of sensationalist rhetoric that seeks to undermine Markle's credibility at every turn, showcasing a troubling pattern of attempting to discredit and silence a woman who has spoken openly about her challenging experiences in the British royal establishment. This ongoing barrage of negativity has not only affected Meghan Markle, but has also sparked widespread debate about the role of the media in shaping public perception. Many argue that Morgan's approach is not just unprofessional, but also harmful, contributing to a toxic environment that discourages open dialogue and understanding. His relentless pursuit of Meghan has raised questions about the ethical responsibilities of journalists and the impact of their words on individuals' lives. The controversy surrounding Morgan's attacks continues to be a polarizing topic, reflecting broader societal issues about media influence and accountability. Confronting media racism, Dr. Shola Shogbamimu's powerful television takedown. In a moment of electrifying television, Dr. Shola Shogbamimu unleashed a razor-sharp critique on Piers Morgan, systematically dismantling his dismissive stance on racism within the royal family. With surgical precision, she challenged Morgan's repeated refusal to acknowledge the deeply problematic racial undertones in the treatment of Meghan Markle, holding him accountable for his inflammatory media narratives. Her passionate defense went beyond mere argument. It was a profound stand for Meghan's fundamental human dignity, forcefully asserting that no public figure, regardless of their royal status or racial background, should be subjected to systemic racism and media vilification. Dr. Shogbamimu's television confrontation was more than a debate. It was a powerful indictment of media racism, delivered with intellectual firepower and unwavering moral conviction. Confronting Racism, a critical dialogue on institutional bias. The pervasive nature of racism demands our unwavering attention and active intervention, particularly when it manifests in systemic structures that perpetuate harmful stereotypes and marginalize individuals based on their race. It is crucial to recognize and address these issues to create a more just and equitable society. Institutions like the royal family are not immune to these deeply ingrained biases, which can often go unnoticed or unchallenged. As exemplified by the treatment of Meghan Markle, whose experiences have brought these issues to the forefront of public consciousness. Her story revealed uncomfortable truths about racial prejudice embedded within seemingly prestigious organizations, sparking widespread discussions and calls for change. By confronting these racist undertones head-on, we create opportunities for genuine dialogue, empathy, and meaningful societal transformation. It is through these conversations that we can begin to dismantle the structures that uphold racial inequality. The impact of racism extends far beyond individual experiences, affecting entire communities and generations. It corrodes the social fabric and undermines the fundamental principles of human dignity and equality, which are essential for a harmonious society. Public figures and media personalities have a profound responsibility to challenge these narratives, amplify marginalized voices, and use their platforms to advocate for justice. By fostering an environment of mutual understanding and respect, we can work towards a future where everyone is valued and treated with the dignity they deserve. Unmasking royal racism, a call for justice and accountability. In the stark light of systemic prejudice, our collective journey demands more than mere acknowledgement. It requires transformative action. The painful revelations about the royal family's treatment of Meghan Markle represent a microcosm of deeper, pervasive racial inequities that continue to plague our society, challenging us to dismantle centuries of ingrained discrimination. Our path forward hinges not on performative gestures, but on genuine introspection, honest dialogue, and a committed, unwavering stance against racism in all its insidious forms. We must recognize that true progress emerges when we courageously confront uncomfortable truths, amplify marginalized voices, and construct a society founded on mutual respect, empathy, and radical compassion, where every individual, regardless of race, background, or status, is afforded the fundamental dignity they inherently deserve. Pause 2s. In this chapter, we will delve deeper into the historical context of racism and its impact on modern society. The struggle against racial prejudice is not a recent development, it is a battle that has been fought for centuries. Pause 2s. From the transatlantic slave trade to the civil rights movement, history is replete with instances of systemic oppression and the courageous individuals who stood against it. Figures like Harriet Tubman, who risked her life to lead slaves to freedom via the Underground Railroad, and Martin Luther King Jr., whose dream of equality resonated across the globe,